Friday, we made it to Friday. And in 2 days is the Super Bowl. 2 days. You know what I'm excited about. You know it. Now I sound like I have all these plans for Super Bowl. I've been talking about it and talking about it and talking about it. I'm probably going to be in one of my husband's old Kansas City Chiefs t-shirts and using it as a napkin for all my queso and everything I've got going on. But man, I'm excited. I am excited. It is Friday. Can you guys hear me all right? Let's see who's in here. I was chatting this morning. Hello, Jamie Lunas. Mermaid made it in. Hello, I love coffee. I almost had a whole damn pot of coffee myself. Jules made it in. This is it right here, Rowena, whether you like football or not. Snack Fest 2023. It is the Thanksgiving of February, as I call it. Minus the turkey. Minus the turkey. Hello, Dolores. Dolores, did you get your birthday in the mail yet? I mailed it on Monday. I mailed the January birthdays on Monday. Lone Wolf is gifting memberships. Yes, yes, yes. Because we have a Super Bowl party tomorrow. Hello, Alibi. Hello, Nani. We have a Super Bowl party tomorrow. And Tuesday, we have a Valentine's party. I'm going to call it Crime Lines and Valentines. Listen to that. How damn clever. Speaking of clever, Trevor just came in. Hello, Christina. What's going on, everybody? I am so glad you're here. Sometimes we do these week in review shows. I don't really like to do shows where I cross cases, but you know, I need to turn my phone down. Somebody sent me a friend request and I don't know this person. They must not know me very well either because they're not in here and we're live right now. I have a feeling that's going to be a fast reject, if you know what I mean. Let's see who I'm missing. Hello, Kamari. Tree Baby made it in. Greg Flatten, I was chatting with you. Where's Summer? We were on the phone, and then I was like, I got to do the show. Where's Summer? Hello, Mama B. Just me? Exactly. Grab your beverage of choice and let's chat. Let's chat. Hello, Lisa Aldridge. Bonnie made it in. Greg Flatten left a comment this morning that said there's a Super Bowl commercial. John Travolta, I guess he is going to redo Grease. I don't know what song he's going to do. The commercials all are usually really funny. Kind of got me thinking. It's a dangerous thing, but I do it from time to time. Have you noticed that any time a celebrity dies, like John Travolta is the first person to talk about it? Like any time a celebrity dies, John Travolta is ready on Twitter and always has like the nicest thing to say. It's like a real tearjerker, you know? I don't care if you're talking about Mr. Roper from Three's Company. John Travolta is the first person to weigh in. The first one. I swear to God. He's like the Murder, She Wrote of Hollywood. He knows everybody. It's like Mr. Roper dies and he's right in there saying, well, I'm a Mr. Furley fan, but I remember my time when I was a co-star on Three's Company and Mr. Roper. It's the craziest thing. He's the first one. Missin' with Manda, thank you so much for the super sticker. She says, have a great weekend. Missin' with Manda, are you going to be watching the game or are you there for the snacks only? True Crime with Shannon. He's like the 6 degrees of John Travolta. Exactly. They talk about Kevin Bacon, but I think it's John Travolta. Yeah, he knows everybody. Mama Kay said it's because they're all Scientologists. Mama Kay's already weighing in on that. Yep. Mystified, yes. He was Vinny on Welcome Back, Kotter. I think it's funny. Missing with Manda said she said fly eagles fly. Well, you know me. You know what I'm rooting for. Bama Skin, thank you for the super sticker. Says John Travolta sends love, then gets you into Scientology. Woo, everybody hating on the Scientologists this morning. That's okay, I'm not one. I mean, I barely drag my ass to church for Easter, and I'm a Baptist. I was doing really good with going to church every Sunday. Then we had that cold snap, and I don't want to get out of bed. What to do? So this week was crazy. It was one thing after another. And I'm used to the comments where people come in and they're like, love you too, Dallas 420. Dallas 420 has been a member for 3 months. Don't miss the Super Bowl show tomorrow. So, as I've said before, I moderate my own comments. So, when you get a reply, the after show comments, it's me. I don't have a comment moderator. It's just me and OJ. So, the typos, when I reply on the wrong case or not know what you're talking about, that's all me. I take 100% credit for that. And I'm used to the comments where people say, you don't know what you're talking about. Why don't you do your research? Didn't you hear what Ichamel said about this? Like, I'm used to all that. But man, this week was a different thing. I haven't been called a twat since high school, so I got that back. We're bringing twat back. The Lindsay Clancy case, man. Wow. Wow. People are mad at me. That's okay. We're going to get to all of that. Don't you worry. Oh man, this case has got people fired up. It has got them fired up. But before I get to Lindsay, don't worry. It is a very heavy case. You're right, Shelley. It's a really heavy case. They're picking apart things that I've never seen picked apart before. I'm not recognizing any of the names yet in here that have been hating on me this week. I'm really, really hoping they come in. And it's not even cherry piss. It's not even cherry piss. I can't believe it. Cherry piss. All cherry piss gets wound up about is her crush on Steve. If I say a damn thing about Kaylee's dad, Steve, cherry piss is waiting, man. That makes her so mad. Dearness. So first, let's start with yesterday. I put up a news clip. I put a video up. A case out of Arizona. A girl was kidnapped. I'm just going to say kidnapped by a guy in Utah. If you didn't see it, you're going to see it here. I'm going to play it again. It makes me so damn mad. Let me read a comment. Vaughn Manning left this comment on this video. She said they should have one big ass prison just for these sick sons of bitches. It's amazing how people say they served their time, but the victims serve a life sentence. So should they. I am so tired of these sex predators, these sex offenders, serving their 6 months, their 1 year, what have it, or they go straight home and they monitor them on an ankle monitor. They need to make sure they have, well, keep them in jail. I vote for keep them in jail first. While we're getting that legislated, and you know that's going to take forever, make sure their asses are not on the internet. Make sure they're not on the internet. It's safe to say when our kids are on the computer, we don't know who's popping in to talk to them. These people are slick. They pretend to be kids. When I was growing up, my grandparents were always on my parents going, You're letting the TV be the babysitter. She shouldn't be watching that. Blah, 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 blah. With my kids, my parents were always saying, you're letting that game box babysit the kids. Get them off of that game box. Have them go in the backyard. Do this, do that. Now, it's the internet. Kids are on their parents' phone. Kids have their own laptops. Kids have their own iPads. Kids have their own phones. Mermaid, thank you so much. Mermaid said, for one bag of chips due to inflation. No shit. No shit. Thank you, Bernsey. Thank you. Happy Friday to you, love. So you guys remember, we're about the same age in here. When we were growing up, it was like, get them out in front of the TV. It's going to ruin their eyes. Then with my kids, get them off that damn Nintendo. Hell, when I was growing up, the rule was you don't answer the door, you don't answer the phone, you don't know what kind of sicko is going to be on that phone, you don't know what kind of sicko is going to be on the other side of the door. Gen X, our parents had a way of scaring us. They would flat out tell you, if you open that door, there's a madman on the other side that's going to rip you out of the house and they'll never see you again. That's how our parents talked to us back then, okay? If you talk to your kids like that now, CPS is going to take your kids from you. That's how our parents spoke to us back in the day. It was actually a good thing I didn't answer the phone, because a couple of times I did answer the phone. Then out of the blue, people would show up from Sears to give my dad a free estimate on siding. So I would get my ass beat and told, don't answer the damn phone, Brooks. I got kisses from Ryan Christie. Love you, Ryan. Thank you for the super sticker. Kamari, exactly. Exactly. They'd tell you. They'd flat out tell you. Can't do that with kids now. It's much, much, much more dangerous, though, because you have the internet. You don't know what's sneaking in. You have no idea. I feel very, very, very bad for parents, because kids have to do their schoolwork and everything on the computer. They access the internet for their research. There's no more card catalog at the library. Slim Hauser did the same thing. We got a free family portrait. Remember those days when you used to help your parents out when you answered the phone in the house? Next thing you know, they were getting all kinds of crap in the mail. Free family portrait? Yeah, I tell you what, the time that Sears showed up and my parents got the free estimate from Sears, pissed my dad off to no end. God, he was mad. And those people would not go away. My dad was like, what part of we have a brick house are you not getting? Good God. So this poor girl, 14 years old in Arizona, via TikTok, she's not now, communicating with a guy named Jordan Sorensen in Utah. He had already gotten in trouble for communicating with a 13-year-old girl and exploiting her for pictures of herself with not all her clothes on, if you know what I mean. Yeah. So he's already in trouble for that. And what do? They give him a little bit of time in jail, let him out. They slap an ankle monitor on him, but he's back on the internet. The ankle monitor is not the problem. The problem is the internet. They are contacting kids on the internet. This was through the TikTok app. This was through TikTok. They were TikTok friends. You've got to be kidding me. Let's look at this. I know you guys are going to be just as pissed as me. He is exactly, Mermaid. Sick POS. Yes, he is. And he looks about 12 years old, too.
Arizona team was taken from her home and rescued several days later in Utah. 26-year-old Jordan Sorensen was arrested and charged in connection with this incident. Court documents say Sorensen initially met the victim on TikTok, where they exchanged messages. Eventually, the two switched to using Snapchat before arranging a meetup at the end of January. I have with me a map of the southwestern part of the U.S., and according to these court documents, it says for that meetup, Sorensen left his home in West Valley City. This is a suburb of Salt Lake City. He then traveled all the way down to Mojave County in Arizona, the northwestern part of the state. This is where he met the victim and put her cell phone on airplane mode. He then traveled to Las Vegas, where he bought the victim a new cell phone as well as new clothing before returning to his home all the way back near Salt Lake City. The arrest records claim Sorensen, a registered sex offender, sexually assaulted the victim every day before Utah authorities were able to rescue the teen. Investigators say the victim was too afraid to leave because she thought Sorensen could track her. With big events happening in the state, teen safety advocates say this is a time predators make their moves.
It's very common. As a parent of 4 teenage girls, it's frightening.
Katie McPherson, a digital wellness advocate, says education is key for kids.
When anybody asks you to change from one platform to the other, that's a huge red flag.
It's also important for parents themselves to be informed. Websites like smartsocial.com provide a list and summary of all the popular apps teens use. And the app Bark, which McPherson works for, allows parents to monitor their kids' social media activity.
So if somebody's like, let's meet up, that's going to be a safety alert. If someone's like, I want to, hurt you, that's going to be an alert. If a student is saying, I don't want to be here anymore and is in distress, that's going to alert. So we alert in 17 different categories.
Sorensen is charged with aggravated kidnapping and rape. Now, during this incident, he was on probation after being convicted of aggravated sexual extortion back in 2020.
I am so mad about this. The minute they knew, now a lot of times these ankle monitors, I believe he's 26 or 27, Shelley. A lot of times these ankle monitors are monitored by a damn bondsman. Well, how well do you think they're really going to be looking? I'm sure this was done at night. I mean, who knows? Who knows? I'd put him in a cell. I'd give him 2 things: a bar of lava soap and a metal pot scrubber. He is disgusting. And while he's getting his therapy in jail, and they're getting him all prepped to come back into society, she will live with this the rest of her life. Damn, it's sick. Makes me so mad. Rowena wants him. Rowena wants to adopt little Jordan Sorensen. I have a feeling he'd be out in the ocean really fast. Hang on, I stand corrected. Hang on. La said she was a bondsman. She said, trust me, they want their money. So it's not the bondsman's fault, but somebody wasn't watching. They didn't realize that he had his ankle monitor off. Does the ankle monitor work when you take it off the body? I don't know. Never had one. So can he take the ankle monitor off and just say, sit it on his dresser and take off and it's still active? Or do you have to have it on your body for it to work? I don't know. Could he have put it like on his dog? Lana said it's supposed to alert when it's removed. Lala said absolutely not. Lala, what do you think happened when he took the ankle monitor off? Because he left, he goes down to Arizona, comes back through Nevada, buys her a new cell phone. Why the hell he needed a cell phone, I don't know. And new clothes. Then takes her to his house in Utah and they find her in the basement. Now, this is a case that I will update from time to time. I don't want to do a bunch of lives about it or anything, because let me tell you what I read in the discovery not the discovery documents, the probable cause. What happened to this girl? It's absolutely disgusting. He registered where he was working, his cell phone number, his address. He was up to date on all of that. But he failed to read the fine print that says, hey, while you're out and you're paying your fines and you're going to therapy, read the fine print. Please do not communicate with minors via TikTok. I guess he missed that. Absolutely disgusting. Speaking of disgusting, in the case of Anna Walsh, Brian, Head and Shoulders, was back in court yesterday. Now, we didn't talk about it this week on the show. This just came out yesterday afternoon. If you remember, Brian, they believe he murdered Anna. They don't believe they're going to find Anna's body. They believe Anna's body was incinerated in a garbage holding facility outside of Boston. Brian told on himself, though, because he searched the internet after killing her for certain things. He also used his 6-year-old son's iPad to make these ridiculous searches. Here's a few of them. How long before a body starts to smell? 10 ways to dispose of a dead body if you really need to. Mind you, he typed this out. If you really need to. Why? Explain if you really need to me. If you have a dead body, you're supposed to call 911. You get a hold of a coroner. But he's a do-it-yourself type of dude, right? Okay? DIY for dead bodies. 10 ways to dispose of a dead body if you really need to. Can you throw away body parts? Dismemberment and the best ways to dispose of a body. How to clean blood from a wooden floor. He also searched what to do with clothes that you wore while committing a crime. Like, what do you do with your crime scene clothes? Do you let them drip dry? Do you take them to the dry cleaners? Do you put them on permapress, or do you just fluff them in the dryer? He had a lot of questions. So when they got you can't make it up, Lala. Lala's like, you can't make it up. No, you can't. So they come across all of this and didn't take them too long to put it together, and they arrested him. Had a comment from Sugar Spice that said, Head and Shoulders mom needs to be charged. She lied and knew what he was doing. So for those of you that have been following the Anna Walsh case, what do you think? Do you think his mom needs to be charged? I don't know for sure that his mom really knew that he was using her dumpster to dispose of Anna. But she did lie to authorities and say that he was picking up stuff for her at the CVS. Why is CVS coming up in our 2 cases from Boston? Poor Patrick was sent to CVS to get Miralax. This douchebag says he went to CVS to get things for his mom. Sword of the Spirit said he needed a mom like Brian Laundrie's. She offered to help him bury Gabby. She certainly did. She did. She damn sure did. I don't even know what to make out of all of this. It is so disgusting. He still hasn't made bail. Nobody's going to give him that much cash to get out because it's not a 10%er, if you know what I mean. So he was in court yesterday. Let's look at this. He's just looking fine as always. There's Head and Shoulders right there on the screen. He looks a little bit sleepy. Oh, one thing in my insane comments this week, I did see one comment that said, hey, Brooks, if I always refer in other chats to the criminals using the nicknames that we use on your channel, and the other creators get mad at me. Well, I don't know what to tell you. Just hang here. Just hang here. I don't know. Let's see what Head and Shoulders has to say.
Video conference session, February 9th, 2023, with Judge Horahan on the bench. We have Dedham House of Correction joining us at 9:30. We're just waiting for Mr. Walsh to join us in the Zoom room.
Okay. Good morning, Council.
Morning, Your Honor.
Your Honor.
The parties identify themselves for the record. Mr. Walsh is now appearing.
Your Honor, Greg Connor for the Commonwealth.
Your Honor, Tracy Minor for Brian Walsh, and Brian Walsh is on the video as well.
See Mr. Walsh, okay?
Mr. Walsh, can you hear us okay?
Yes, I can. Thank you.
So these are the matters of 230136 and 230318 on for status hearings this morning.
Okay.
Your Honor, I was assigned to the matter last week. Been able to duplicate all of the discovery that's not subject to grand jury process. I'm going to send that to Ms. Minor this afternoon when I get out of court. I'd be asking for a continuance on today's hearing. My expectation is that this matter will be finished in the grand jury by the end of March, but hopefully mid-March. So I would do whatever is agreeable to Ms. Minor for her next date.
Attorney Minor?
Your Honor, I will say we have received very little discovery to date. So I'm hoping that the discovery will be fulsome. We've received like basically nothing.
Oh my God, what is she talking about? We have received basically nothing. Did you not see the 6 pages of Google searches? His defense attorney is not good at this. What the hell is she talking about? I can help her. She can come into this show. She can listen to my last few shows. Oh my God, we have received almost nothing. Did you miss the Encyclopedia Britannica of Google searches he did? What'd Slim say? Hang on. Slim said, Brooks, can you cover up Candace's face with your icon? It looks like she's on panel and scared me. Don't be scared. Don't be scared. Here, I'll do it like this. Don't be scared. There's no Candace. Candace isn't going to get you, Slim. I won't let Candace up here. You know that.
I have no problem with putting it on for a month, but, and I hope to be, in fact, even sooner, because if in fact we get all of the discovery, that's one thing, but if there's still discovery issues, if we haven't even received the search warrants for my client's car, the inventories for search warrants. I mean, the basic stuff that we should have had like immediately, we don't have. So I'm a little bit skeptical that this, that the discovery is going to be fulsome or that it's going to contain everything I need. So if we could have a date like 3 weeks out, I would, for another status conference, just so I can review the discovery, see what is missing, if anything, hopefully not, but.
I believe that's a reasonable request, and I think 3 days and we'll review discovery. I do ask both parties to work to get all discovery completed, okay?
Certainly, Your Honor.
Thank you, Your Honor.
So whatever is agreeable for Ms. Minor the next day.
What is good for the court?
We just generally try to avoid Fridays and Tuesdays, but Monday, Wednesday, and Thursdays work best.
Where's the video? I'll give you any day.
It can be by video, Your Honor, and does Wednesday, March 1st work?
Perfect.
Wednesday, March 1st,
By Zoom, please.
by Zoom.
Thank you so much, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Walsh, these matters are going to be continued to March 1st. We put them on for probable cause or status.
I was going to ask for status. I believe Ms. Minor also mentioned just that.
Any objection, Ms. Minor?
No, I'm happy to have one more status before we get to probable cause.
I'll put it on for status. Thank you.
Oh, I bet you are. I bet you are. I bet you would rather have a status hearing than a probable cause, because the probable cause goes from Boston to Maine. There's so much. He drove all around. He said he got lost looking for his mama's house. He got lost looking for his mama's house. No, he did not. No, he did not. Because he was putting her body parts in different dumpsters, from what I'm understanding. His mom's dumpster by her condominium complex. The police, the Massachusetts troopers, they get to the garbage holding facility and they realized she'd been incinerated. Disgusting. The haircut's disgusting. How can he still look so damn greasy sitting in jail? I guess because he doesn't have his head and shoulders. I did see some dandruff on his jumpsuit. That's okay. I'm not picking on anybody with dandruff. I didn't give him the nickname. People he went to school with did. Dolores has been keeping Papa Roxy in the loop. Thank you, Dolores. Tell Papa Roxy we miss him. Shay says, embarrassed. He represents my state. We don't want to claim him. You don't have to. You don't have to. So it won't be a probable cause coming up in March. It's going to be a status hearing. Man, I was hoping they would go for probable cause because everything that they put out, his Google searches, as we know, is the weakest evidence because it's their probable cause affidavit. Imagine what else they have. It is absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. So while we're still around Beantown, let's get to it. Let's get to it. Lindsay Clancy. Man, I'm telling you, I can't believe it. Whew. This case is going to be the death of me. What do you guys think? Is she criminally responsible or not? Is she criminally responsible or not? I'm not saying get her better and send her back home. Should she go to jail or should she be institutionalized? Mama B said, yep. Trevor said, yep. Now, let me explain something. This has got people very, very mad. Last Sunday, I put a video up, and it's the dispatch of the 911 call. The title is Lindsay Clancy 911 dispatch call. And I put listen to the end. The reason I said listen to the end, hang on, I have to sneeze. Oh, I almost couldn't sneeze. I had to look straight into the lamp to get me to sneeze. You know you need to sneeze and it's just not going to come out? That's what just happened to me. It just woke up OJ. Okay. So I put, now this came, I think I got the dispatch from Fox, like Fox Boston, something like that. Anyway, their headline said 911. I actually took a screenshot of the Google search. I put it in the Facebook group and the community tab. No shits to give. These people are still raking me over the coals. My description says, this call is first responder side only. There are breaks in the call that are not put in by this channel. No edits were made by this channel. For one, this channel is lazy. I don't edit shit. You get it raw and dirty around here. So people are coming into my comments after this saying this is clickbait. I thought more of this channel. I can't believe you're doing this clickbait. This is the dispatch call, not the 911 call. Brooks, this is the dispatchers talking after the 911 call. What do you want from me? I already said that's what it is. After I listened to it, I thought it was the 911 call. Am I losing my mind here? I clearly said the edits are not mine. Patrick is not talking on this. The description says, somebody help me. Obviously, I can edit the title. That's all you're going to get out of me, though. God dang. It's crazy. So my take on Lindsay is this. When this story came out, had I heard that 3 babies were murdered in the house and it was because of postpartum depression, I'd have had no shits to give. I'd have been like, sorry for you and your depression. Sorry. Enjoy your orange a day. Enjoy your white bread and bologna with no mayo. Sorry. Sorry about your depression. I don't care. I don't care. When I heard she threw herself out the window, I was like, Ugh. That's a different can of worms. That's a different can of worms for me. I don't think she should be out in society. No, I do not. But right now, I'm kind of leaning towards institutionalized. But then again, that was up until I heard the arraignment, and the arraignment said she planned it. Well, she planned it, but she also threw herself out the window. I'm very conflicted on this one. I'm not going to lie. I'm not being a flip flopper. I'm not riding the fence. You know, I don't do that. It's a tough one. It's just a really, really tough one. Big T said, I don't think she expected to live. Avalon 23 said, I think she made up her health condition to get time off from work, and she was freaking out about going back to work. She planned the deaths, and she's manipulative. She's playing everyone. Avalon 23 thinks that. Even after throwing herself out the window. Yeah. It's like divided down the middle. There's people that are like, I don't care. I don't care. Then there's other people like, look, she planned it. She planned it. Shiny Bush said, not only did you lie to everyone and say this was the 911 call, you can't even figure out what postpartum depression is. I don't know what I have done to Shiny Bush, but I'm telling you, I'm not lying to you. I'm not trying to tell you this is the 911 call. My title clearly says, if Shiny Bush is listening and not commenting, it clearly says, this is the dispatch. This is dispatch side only. This is not, I didn't edit this. You don't hear Patrick on it. My goodness. All right, so it came out after our last show. The prosecution gives their side. They give a little press conference after the arraignment. And I think we can all agree, even Shiny Bush, that the arraignment was insane. Insane.
Well, I mean, this is I still consider a very sad day, a very tragic case, very incomprehensible. I think the judge made a determination as this is ability, and we will live with it. So it's the first step in the court proceedings, and we'll go forward from there.
Tim, it looks like you guys are saying this was pretty well planned by a woman who was thinking clearly in terms of sending her husband out for the amount of time she would need for Google search and everything. Can you explain a little bit about premeditation in this case?
I mean, I really can't get into the details because really of the disciplinary rules and ethical considerations that prosecutors have regarding talking about things not in the courtroom. So I'm not really in a position to expound on what you heard. I would just say that obviously this is a very serious matter that we're going to look at everything. You heard everything up there as pertains to mental health issues. Mental health is such a topic nowadays, whether it be for defendants, whether it be for law enforcement. These are things we have to look at in all of our cases, and it's not unusual. And we need to make sure that we do our job by looking at all the facts, looking at all the evidence, and going forward from there. And that's what we plan on doing.
Why do you want her at Shattuck as opposed to Spalding Rehab?
Once again, we make the ask pursuant to the statute that somebody be held without bail, and it's up to the court to send them where they go. The judge made the determination not to set a monetary bail. The judge made the determination where she was going to go. So, for now, obviously that's where we're going to be. I respect his decision, and we'll just go forward.
Tim, are you concerned that she is still in
rehab? Like I said, mental health issues, I'm not a doctor, and we're going to be in a position where we're going to be retaining our own experts to go forward with this, whether they be mental health issues, pharmacology issues, toxicology issues, all those different things that have to be done and looked at, and that's what we're going to do to go forward to try to get justice. At the end of the day, what this case is about is 3 innocent children have been murdered.
Why did the state not pursue a third murder charge?
This is just at the district court level. There's always going to be amendments to the things that go forward, and I would anticipate as it goes forward that there will be 3.
What are your thoughts on the over-medication argument, that she was over-medicated?
Once again, I can't get into the facts. I think that what we'll do is we're going to wait and see what the medical professionals talk about. You heard a lot of the information that was delineated in the courtroom. I would suggest that you look at that and see what rings true and what doesn't ring true. We'll let the professionals make those determinations and we'll go forward. My role is to look at the facts, to look at the evidence, and to apply it to the law and trying to make sure that we can make the best decision for the Clancy family, for the town of Duxbury, for the people who have been hurt by this. And everybody's been hurt by this. This is a terrible, tragic, sad event. And it's something that we can't let go of. This is about 3 little kids.
How do you balance looking for justice for those 3 little kids with potentially a person who suffered from mental illness?
Well, that will be up at some point for a finder of fact to make those determinations, whether or not there is a mental health issue, whether or not there is a competency issue or a criminal responsibility issue. That's why we have our situations go through the court system. I'm not going to be out, trying this case in the corridors of Plymouth Superior Court. I'm not going to be trying it on social media. I'm not going to be trying it with the media. We're going to try it in the courtroom where it belongs, where it should be, and let the appropriate trier of fact, whether it be a judge or jury, make those determinations as we go forward. And I think that's what we'll do.
Is it a challenging case for prosecutors? It's challenging for us to report on, but is it challenging on your end of it?
I think every case brings its own challenges and obstacles, and you have to adapt to those situations. And I'm very confident there's very good lawyers involved in this case, whether it be on our side or on the defense side. So it should be
trying to figure out what's appropriate and how to do this, and what's right, or as you said, to weigh justice for those 3 kids.
Yeah, I mean, there's never easy decisions. There are always people that will agree with you. There are always people that won't agree with you. And that's why we have to make decisions as best as we can by talking to people, whether they be in the community, whether they be with the family themselves. How do these things work? Who do we talk to? How do you get justice in a situation like this? You're right. I mean, this is a situation where everybody in that courtroom's lost. There's no winners here today. So how can we go forward from here?
That's a good way to put it. Sorry for the low audio. I did everything I could do. It's turned up all the way. When he said, look, there's no winners in that courtroom. There's none. They know what the defense is going to be. The defense is not postpartum depression. The defense is not that she was misdiagnosed. They haven't. I'm sure they're going to add to that later. They're going to find their own expert to say, no, she was postpartum depression. She was misdiagnosed. I'm sure they'll find somebody. I'm sure they'll find some doctor to go through her reports, pick it apart and say, this is a misdiagnosis. Right now, the defense is this was a medication mismanagement. This is a medication mismanagement. But then you have the state on the other hand saying, but if her medication was so mismanaged, how did she plan this out? Why didn't she take all the medication as opposed to jumping out the window? I just couldn't imagine arguing that. I mean, she jumped out at 20 feet. She's paraplegic. I don't know what's going to happen with it. I will tell you this. It is a heated topic. Heated topic. And I do understand, Patrick, the GoFundMe, which has raised over $1 million, has been edited. Supposedly it doesn't say, I guess I could look at it and not just talk out my ass, that it doesn't mention her legal fees anymore. Lindsay Clancy, go fund me. Oh. Here we go. Yeah, it has definitely been edited. GoFundMe donations of over $1 million will not be used to cover mother's legal fee in murder case. Well, Who's gonna pay that bill? I have a feeling because it said legal expenses. After the arraignment, because when we did the show Thursday morning, I think it was Mama B that said it's been edited. So when Patrick got hit with, she planned it, they took that out. Imagine her attorney right now going, looks like I'm not gonna get paid. There had to have been some kind of agreement. I don't know. He's still her husband, but I don't know what's going to happen with that because he wasn't in court. They said that she used the psychiatrist's phone, I believe, to try to call him twice. I don't know if he talked to her. The word try stuck out to me. So we definitely have some shows coming up about Lindsay. There is a lot going on with that. And man, it is just messy. Messy, messy. Kaz says community property state. Exactly. She can wind up using her equity in the house to pay for the attorney. I'm really not going to worry about how Lindsay pays for the attorney. I'm really not. I just know that they said the GoFundMe, that $1 million, it's Patrick's. It's not going to her. They're not going to use any of it to cover her legal fees. My question is, them being married, would she get any part of it? I don't know. I don't know what a judge would decide considering where they are right now. I do believe if left alone, I think she would hurt herself again. That's the nicest way I have to put it out there. So as of the date of the arraignment, that GoFundMe very much said legal fees. When we did the show Sunday morning, I read the GoFundMe. That Sunday morning and the Sunday morning before, I read the GoFundMe. Was it both times that I went through it? Anyway, and it clearly said, legal fees. So, a lot of people are asking about Summer Wells. Dawn and Candace went to court yesterday. Trevor, you want to grab the link? You're being shy back there, Trevor. Everybody misses you. My understanding in a nutshell is they didn't lose their rights and nobody went to jail. That's pretty much it. Supposedly, Detective Pruitt was there. Pruitt said that as of right now, they don't have enough to go forward with Summer's case and that they have not ruled out foul play. That's what I have heard. I want to know. I know Trevor was there, but he was not in the courtroom. Let's see what Trevor has to say. Trevor might be eating his breakfast right now. I did get a comment from Microdot after the last show we did, which was for Summer's birthday. The link is pinned. Can you guys hear me? Jamie says sound. I had a lot of intelligent stuff to say. I hope I wasn't muted. Anyway, Microdot said, Brooks, this is not about the parents deserving or not deserving to have their kids back. This is about the kids deserving to have a better life. Dawn and Candace should have surgery to assure they never ever have any more children. Heck, I would put up the money to pay for that surgery. Yes, we don't know where the boys are, but until we know different, we pray they are in a great home with loving, caring people. And this shows the boys what a good life really is compared to the hell they were living in before. The boys may even have answers as to what happened to Summer and when this even happened. Prayers daily for the boys and prayers daily for Summer's soul. We don't have to pray for Summer's soul. Summer is in a good place. Summer's soul is great with Jesus. Kids don't just disappear. Kids do not just disappear. And absolutely, I totally understand the comment. I 100% do. I guess there must have been some misunderstanding that someone in the last show must have thought that I was thinking that it would be a good idea for the boys to go back. No way in hell. No way in hell. You can't even tell us what happened to Summer. We know she wasn't abducted. She wasn't abducted. They've already said. The FBI card unit said no abduction. The most extensive search in Tennessee state history took place in East Tennessee, and guess what? They didn't even find a swatch of a t-shirt. It can only be foul play. Here's our friend Trevor. Trevor, talk to me. What went on yesterday?
Shoo! I hung out at the courthouse till they got there because nobody knew the timing for the court case, of course, because it's a juvenile case. They don't put those on the docket. But they showed up early, came and met with their attorneys. They both walked back out, so nobody got thrown in jail.
Hang on, with or without their attorney?
They went in just together, but they went in early, so they went to meet with their attorney, is what I presented.
Their attorney. Okay, sorry.
And they both walked out, so Don was not found in contempt for the gag order, but I would say he was probably threatened with it.
Now, my understanding is Candace was pissed.
She was. So I actually left, and they were right behind me at the red light, which was a joy. And Candace was lighting her cigarette as soon as they left and was throwing up her arms and yelling at Don.
Damn, Don. Well, they didn't lose their rights and they didn't go to jail. So my understanding is the next family court session is this Wednesday.
Yeah, I think so. And I heard that they actually got an extension on their court. They used the heart thing. They pushed the whole heart issue thing and got an extension for the visitation hearing, because that's what yesterday was, is the visitation hearing. And I heard it got pushed again.
I thought the visitation hearing was Wednesday, the 15th, and yesterday was a special session for the gag order. But go ahead.
Either way, whatever yesterday they talked about ended up getting pushed as well. They're going to get extra time with whatever was discussed because the heart, they used the heart issue, the Candace's heart that they've been talking about.
Now, I'm not a cardiologist, Trevor, and you're not either, right?
Nope.
Okay, let's just pretend for a second like we are. I'm just, I'm sure you've watched some medical shows. I have. Are there any cardiologists or doctors out there that suggest that you continue smoking with a heart problem?
I would go on a limb and say no.
Thank you, Dr. Trevor. So, I understand that probably a lot of stress and everything going on, but what would a cardiologist say to someone? And I really don't care about her damn stress, but what do they say about rock gut liquor going through your system with a heart condition? Do you have any idea, Dr. Trevor?
I would again say probably not good.
Okay, so no drugs or alcohol with a heart condition. Now, a lot of times when people are faced with a debilitating illness, and heart is definitely one of them. When heart problems scare the hell out of people, a lot of times those bad behaviors, they stop in their tracks and they don't do it anymore. But from what I'm understanding, we're still sipping on the jug and we're smoking like a freight train. What do you say about that, Dr. Trevor?
Yep. Nothing has changed. And typically if you're, on your deathbed, as they claim, you would probably change your bad habits.
Okay. I know it's hard to stop, but I tell you what, death will make you stop. Death will make you stop.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that a lot of times, unless you're Jerry Garcia, if bad habits don't stop, you are not considered at all for transplants and certain surgeries, because there's no point in doing it if you're going to continue smoking and drinking.
Which apparently what's been said is all she needs is batteries for her pacemaker.
Okay.
They've added the other stuff. They've pushed the other that any little bit of stress will kill her, X, Y, and Z. But what I've heard is the only factual thing out of that is that she needs batteries.
Okay, she needs batteries. Is there a shortage on pacemaker batteries in East Tennessee, Trevor? Have you heard?
Not that I've heard of. I think we're more at a shortage of the truth, but
there's a shortage of the truth, but we're okay on pacemaker batteries. So why doesn't she just get that done?
Well, once you fix something, you can't milk it any longer.
I don't have a pacemaker, so I don't know. My father-in-law does. And when it comes time to do what they need to do, it's not a talk about type of thing. They're like, be here at this time, this date. My mother-in-law drives him. She takes a book to read, and then they go back home.
You mean he doesn't like call the whole family and tell them that they need to stop stressing them out for the next 5 months?
Well, we get that regardless, but
Well, yeah.
on top of that, yeah, they do that. Okay. All right. Well, I mean, it seems to me that the courts are being very, very, very fair with them. And I think if it wasn't for the case of Summer being missing, they wouldn't be so kind to them. That's just my opinion.
Agree.
Well, Trevor. Wolfcat62 said no justice in Hawkins County. Let's go back to comparing what some people tell me is apples and oranges. What would Sheriff Cassidy do in Sullivan County? Because let me tell you something. He didn't screw around with Megan Boswell at all.
Nope.
Now, I understand what Pruitt's saying. We haven't ruled out foul play, and we don't have enough to make a charge. I get it. And so in the meantime, these boys they lay in limbo. It's just not fair. And I understand we can't legislate fair and we can't legislate feelings. And the law isn't written for how we think things should go. But damn, it's bad.
Oh, yeah. And like you said, here in Sullivan County, it would have been 10 times different. I mean, they didn't have Evelyn's body, and Cassidy put her away for false charges as soon as he could. Or false statements.
False statements. Now let's talk about Candace. On June 15th, even though they said that there was some sort of miscommunication with the 911 operator, the official dispatch said Mom advised she went on a walk and she came back 10 minutes later and Summer was gone. Now we hear later that she's like, I don't walk around here. Because of the bears and the snakes. I don't walk around here. She said, no, I was planting flowers with my mom. And I walked Summer into the house. And then I went back in 2 minutes later and I asked the boys, where's Summer? Now, who would be looking for somebody in 2 minutes? In two minutes, 120 seconds. Now, I know what she means. A couple of minutes, 10, I do that too. Well, just a couple of minutes later, it could be 30 minutes, but I'll say a couple of minutes. But she's looking for Summer. Where is she? Oh, she's down there playing with her toys in the dungeon by herself. She likes rooms that you can't see out of and are moldy. Oh, okay. So she goes down there and there's no Summer. She looks under a mattress that's laying on a concrete floor. She looks under blankets. Then she opens the door. Summer's 5 years old. Why would Summer shut that door behind her? Why would she? She's 5 years old. Kids don't do that. Maybe she did. Maybe that's how Summer does things. I don't know. But she says she opened the door. She looked to the right. She looked down on the ground because Summer used to sit there by herself and play with her toys. She yelled for Summer. Summer didn't yell back. Then she tells Grandis that Summer had been abducted. Grandis yelled for Summer and then said, oh my God, Summer's been abducted. Am I missing anything, Trevor?
Nope, you got it. As little sense as that makes for them to do that, that's what they claim happened.
And I've said it for almost 20 months, but who in their right mind, if they just saw their granddaughter, Candace, we know, but I'm talking about Grandis right now. If you just saw your granddaughter, if you just in the last 30 minutes, I'm going to be kind. If you just in the last hour gave your granddaughter a peppermint, probably the free one they gave them at Sonic, just gave your granddaughter a peppermint, planted flowers with her, watched her walk in the house, why would you assume she had been abducted? Did you hear a car? Did you notice anything on the property? I'd have been like, get the hell out of town. What are you talking about? She's been abducted. I just saw her. She probably still hasn't even eaten the peppermint.
Yeah. We all thought she wandered off, but of course we didn't have the information that they have because, obviously they know more than they're saying. But when she first went missing, we all thought she just wandered off. She'd be found within a few hours.
Well, that's what I thought.
She's taken. That wasn't what we thought.
They did the they had the Amber Alert. It came out overnight between the 15th and the 16th. I was doing a show for Madison Boudreau, and someone in chat said, I don't think this Amber Alert, something about this Amber Alert in Tennessee doesn't add up. During the show, I was looking it up and I was like, Summer Wells, what's going on? And that night I did a show and I said, in Tennessee, they'll do an Amber Alert just when a child is not where they're supposed to be. Tennessee, Iowa, there's a few others. Their criteria, it's different in every state. The criteria is different in every state. I said, I'm sure she just wandered off. I compared it to Little Vady in Alabama. And I said, they're going to find her. I figured the next morning I get up and I look up Summer Wells. For almost 20 months, I have gotten up every morning and looked up Summer Wells. We know she didn't wander off.
Nope. And they know that.
I would love to know when Candace was lighting her cigarette and flapping her fat arms around. I would love to know what she was yelling at Dawn about.
Me too.
Dolores, you're exactly right. Don himself recently said that his fat ass wife doesn't run anywhere. How can she run with that heart condition?
Yeah.
How can she run with that heart condition, Trevor?
I'm surprised they didn't wheel her in yesterday just to add effect.
They didn't even give her a gown at the hospital. How come she didn't have a gown on? She had on her hoodie and her hat.
And she drives them everywhere because DUI can only drive his truck with his breathalyzer in it.
So she's driving with that heart condition?
Mm-hmm.
What if she has a heart attack behind the wheel, Trevor? What if her heart gives out behind the wheel?
I declined to comment. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah.
I can go to the ER 4 times. That doesn't mean anything's wrong with me. If she needed her batteries changed, I have a feeling they could have done it at Holston Valley. They do stuff like that, right?
Yeah. And they would know because she has that history. It's not like it's a secret that she has a pacemaker in there. They would know when she checked in, she has a pacemaker, so we're not going to check X, Y, and Z. We're going to do this instead.
I really, from day to day, really wonder if Summer is ever going to be found. And what it's going to take for Pruitt to put together a circumstantial case or just get everything he has, everything, empty the damn filing cabinet, categorize it, type out a probable cause, give it to the DA and say, look, this is what I've got. Something's got to have to be done. You're the DA. I get it. I get we don't have Summer, but this is what I think happens. This is what I think happened. This is what I can prove. I just keep thinking that someday he's going to get the motivation to do that. You know, Armstrong, the DA himself has said, you know, I guide them along and tell them, well, quit guiding them. Tell them, bring me everything you have. Let's put it together.
Yeah, or pick up your phone and call the FBI and give them what you have and ask them to help you make a case, because I guarantee you they'd put together a better case and give that to the DA.
Mm-hmm. I told Don to get a hold of Dateline NBC and his contacts at People Magazine. I said, they've got better investigators than the TBI.
Yeah.
Hell, People Magazine knew Charles and Camilla were having an affair before Diana did. Get them. Don was in People Magazine a week and a half ago.
Yeah.
Don't talk about the boys, only keep it about Summer. The gag order is not about Summer Wells. The gag order is not to talk about the boys.
Yep.
Slim, what are you applying for? Go ahead, Trev. Sorry.
No, you're fine. I was just saying, hopefully that won't have to be in place much longer. I don't know how long, because I mean, termination has started. I don't know how far along it is, but it's required to have started by now. So hopefully they can just go ahead and terminate and let those boys be adopted and stop being in limbo.
Yeah, because they're in limbo, and I absolutely hate it. I hate it. Well, while I've got you in the hot seat, Trev, what do you think about the case in Idaho? I know that you're in a group. I see your comments.
It's a tough one, especially with being college kids and I being one myself. It's definitely a case I've followed. It's a hard one.
Well, do you think that they've got their guy, or do you think other people could be involved?
I think they got him.
They got the guy.
With the amount that they surveilled him and watched him and the sheath, the thing, I think it's a solid case they got on.
Yeah, it seems like they definitely have dotted the I's and crossed the T's for sure. Lisa Durr, absolutely love the comments that she leaves. Love all the comments. Don't get me wrong. Don't ever stop leaving comments, even if you call me a twat. Can you believe I got called a twat, Trevor?
Jeez.
What do you do? Lisa Durr said, it makes sense to me that Kaylee went into Maddie's room during the attack. Me too, Lisa. The sheath could have been dropped on the bed when he attacked Kaylee, and why she had worse wounds. That makes perfect sense to me. Also, in his panic, he goes down the stairs. He comes across Xana, comes across Ethan, and he leaves. What doesn't make sense is Dylan fanning the door and going back to bed. But this actually makes sense to me. It has been rumored before that Dylan wasn't like really tight with all the girls in there. She didn't really know him. She's just renting a room. She was the newest roommate. Well, besides the one that came in October. And I still don't know if that girl was technically living there or not. So I won't go into her. It just came out that well, I mean, I don't know a nicer way to say it. Dylan just didn't give a shit. Dylan opened her door a couple of times. She heard the crying. She told everyone to shut up and she went back to bed. She honestly didn't realize until she got up. Now, but the probable cause says she froze in fear, in quotes. Now, on Banfield, and I'm not saying this is what happened. It just makes more sense to me if you put it this way. When she saw Bushy, she thought it was a friend of Ethan's, and she went back to bed. Does that make sense to you, Trevor? It actually does make sense to me if the sources are correct. You know, the sources are talking, Trevor.
I agree. And I think it makes sense too. I mean, you know, there's a lot of factors there when it's a man walking around in the middle of the night and stabbing your roommates. It's not like you woke up because there was a little noise you heard. Like, this is a little more. Because
we had heard earlier that, look, they're not tight friends. You know, With the exception of Kaylee and Madison, these people don't really know each other. They rent a room in the same house. Now, we've seen pictures of them together and stuff like that. That doesn't make them BFF. We've heard rumors that there was a rift inside the house. You know, that happens in shared living. Someone eats someone else's potato chips and it's like, "Hey, excuse me, I wrote my name on this. Oh, sorry, I didn't see your name." That type of stuff going on. So Dylan, she hears someone crying and she's like, "Whatever, I'll if I see her tomorrow, I'll be like, you okay?" And that's it. She hears the dog. She screams, "Hey, Kaylee, for the millionth time, would you, get your dog to shut up?" Or whatever happened. I don't know. I wasn't there. It actually makes more sense to me that Dylan's just like, didn't care, shut her door, thought that Bushy, even with his mask on, was a friend of Ethan's and just went back to bed. Then when she got up, she realized something more was going on. The unconscious person she calls, somebody else had said maybe she couldn't get into the room and she started getting worried. I don't know. Something with this 8 hours has got to make sense. Something's got to make sense. Let's look at this and let's see what the sources say. Want to do a deep dive, Trevor?
Let's do it.
Deep dive. Here we go.
It certainly does give a little bit more perspective as to why she didn't call 911 right away, perhaps. We're told that Dylan actually, and let me tell you, it certainly does give a little bit more perspective as to why she didn't call 911 right away, perhaps. We're told that Dylan actually mistook the noises that she'd been hearing. Remember, the affidavit said that around 4 a.m., she could hear some noises up on the third floor, thought it was maybe, Kaylee playing with the dog, Murphy, didn't think a lot more than that. But ultimately, a few moments later, she heard a lot of noises. She opened her door and effectively kind of yelled out to her roommates, "Calm down, like cut it out, keep it down. You guys are being loud. I'm trying to sleep. It's late," thinking that there were roommates horsing around, that perhaps all that noise that she was hearing was just them, being voiced.
Trevor, can you see your screen?
That she was hearing was just them, being boisterous and still in party mode. It was late Saturday night, early Sunday morning. So she then closed her door and went back to bed, but within minutes, perhaps sort of roused again by noise, opens the door again, was going to say something again to the effect, "Keep it down already. It's the middle of the night." And that's when she sees the figure coming towards her. Now, this has been a big bone of contention for a lot of people. Why, if you saw some shadowy, terrifying figure walking towards you, would you just close your door and go back to bed and not call the police? And the characterization to the source who spoke directly with her after the murders is that she didn't think that figure was anything other than just part of the horsing around, maybe one of the partiers, maybe somebody who was a friend of one of the other roommates that was making all the noise. But it, startled her nonetheless to see a man in the middle of the night, dark, walking towards her. Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com.
Anytime, Banfield. It actually makes sense to me that it's not so much that Dylan opened the door, shut the door, opened the door, shut the door, froze in fear, went back to bed, and didn't call 911. It makes more sense to me that she just didn't give a shit. It makes more sense to me that she heard the dog and she was like, "Quiet down, I'm going to sleep." Or she heard Xana crying and she's like, "What the hell's going on?" And just shut the door, like, "Whatever, I'll see her later." Then she sees Bushy and she thinks it's some friend of Ethan's, even with the mask on, and shuts the door. Then the next day, figures out something's going on. But it was said by Ethan's sister-in-law that when she was in her room, she tried to call all the roommates. Nobody answered, and she still didn't call 911. I don't know. What are you thinking, Trevor?
I agree. I mean, it's hard to think, especially if she already didn't care much, that this person is a murderer and your roommates were just stabbed. I mean, it's not a thought that just crosses your mind all the time.
I can't get over the noise, especially when the sources last week said that Xana almost with fighting with Bushy, like she damn near lost her fingers. So I have a hard time believing she wasn't screaming for dear life. That's something I can't get out of my mind, that she had to have been screaming, not just whimpering, crying. I don't think she would have fought back like that if her neck was cut, like some people assume. Trevor, can you see your screen?
Yeah, I can see it.
You're sitting on Candace's face.
Of course I am.
So, let me take down Banfield. We can't do that to you, Trev. I don't know. I don't know. When they get to it in June, more's going to have to come out about this, because I don't see, I mean, the jury's going to have questions for their eyewitness.
Yeah.
They're going to have questions for the eyewitness. Mermaid said, yeah, she grabbed the knife a few times. They said her fingers were damn near severed. I just don't believe for a minute. I think the sound, like Wiz said, I think the sound would have been atrocious. Atrocious. Let's listen to it again real quick.
And let me tell you, it certainly does give a little bit more perspective as to why she didn't call 911 right away, perhaps. We're told that Dylan actually mistook the noises that she'd been hearing. Remember, the affidavit said that around 4 a.m., she could hear some noises up on the third floor, thought it was maybe, Kaylee playing with the dog, Murphy, didn't think a lot more than that. But ultimately, a few moments later, she heard a lot of noises. She opened her door and effectively kind of yelled out to her roommates, calm down, like cut it out, keep it down. You guys are being loud. I'm trying to sleep. It's late. Thinking that there were roommates horsing around, that perhaps all that noise that she was hearing was just them, being boisterous and still in party mode. It was late Saturday night, early Sunday morning. So she then closed her door and went back to bed, but within minutes, perhaps sort of roused again by noise, opens the door again, was going to say something again to the effect of, keep it down already. It's the middle of the night. And that's when she sees the figure coming towards her. Now, this has been a big bone of contention for a lot of people. Why, if you saw some shadowy, terrifying figure walking towards you, would you just close your door and go back to bed and not call the police? And the characterization to the source who spoke directly with her after the murders is that she didn't think that figure was anything other than just part of the horsing around, maybe one of the partiers, maybe somebody who was a friend of one of the other roommates that was making all the noise. But it, startled her nonetheless to see a man in the middle of the night, dark, walking towards her. Thank you for watching. Go to News Nation.
No, it's still not really making much sense to me. I try and I try and I try to put myself in other people's shoes. It's just not meant to be for me, Trev.
My question too is why he left someone. I'm surprised that he left a witness that he knew he made eye contact with. Apparently is what they've said, obviously, is that they looked at each other. I'm surprised that, so he's okay with killing 4 people, but the witness that he last saw, that's where the line is drawn.
Yeah, because when Kaylee came in the room, he wasn't going to leave her behind. He fought with her. That's the reason I'm with Lisa Durr. I think that's the reason her injuries were worse than Madison's, which they're all bad. They're all bad. I can't imagine worse when, anyway, he comes downstairs. He wasn't about to leave Ethan and Xana alive to witness him. He kills them. I still can't believe that the 2 of them didn't fight him off. He had some crazy adrenaline going, that's for sure, or something else. But he leaves Dylan. He obviously approached her door because there's a latent footprint there. They're not going to mention a footprint if it's Dylan's. We know Dylan was there. They're not going to mention a footprint of Ethan's. We know Ethan was there that night. They're not going to mention Xana. Xana lives there. But they mention this latent footprint. I don't know. Slim said Dylan's got some splaining to do. Indie Girl said, I call BS. Yeah, well, we're trying. We're trying. I can't get over the noise. I just cannot get over the noise. I was going through some old comments, and I think it was like the second show that we did about Idaho. And this lady was like, I listened to you whine for an hour about the roommates not hearing anything. You need to do your research. I didn't need to do any research. It's common sense. You're not going to sleep through that. Everybody pictures these two girls with like CPAP machines on and these big earmuffs so they don't hear anything. Of course they heard something.
Hey, it couldn't have been too bad if she watched the whole show.
That's true. And she came back for more. And she came back for more, my friend. What to do? Amanda says, same. I'm in disbelief. No one else points it out. It's ridiculous. Of course they slept. Of course they didn't sleep through it.
No.
She didn't even sleep through the dog barking.
Yeah.
4 a.m. Around 4 a.m., the probable cause says she woke up to what she believes was Kaylee playing with her dog. Well, it wasn't. It was Kaylee keeping her dog back in the room so she could go check on Madison. She goes in there and is like, what the hell? Someone's here. And he kills her. A lot went on between 4 and 4:25. DoorDash, dog, and murder 4 times.
Yeah. And she just chilled through it all.
I don't know if you caught the show on Monday, but to finish out our week recap, our show on Monday, and it's always, I mean, not a dry eye in the house. Monkey Vaughn, little Michael Vaughn.
Yeah.
Sarah Wandra had her status hearing. She's still not up to snuff. So, with her competency and her understanding of what's going on around her. Now, she was when they brought her in because she was actually a smartass to the judge. The judge asked her about her employment, and she goes, well, I'm obviously not working now because I'm in jail. He asked her if she understood the charges. She said, I understand they're not correct. So she was okay then. Yeah. But now we have a little bit of a competency hearing, not hearing, but problem. Lana, grab the link. Lana said she's not talking. Neither are Brandon or Adrian. They both have lawyers now. My biggest issue, all right, Sarah's in jail. They'll get her up to snuff. They'll make sure she understands real quick. I think she goes back in March. March is going to be a busy month. She just, in Idaho, she just has to understand the proceedings. She just has to understand the proceedings. So anyway, they're going to get it where she understands, I mean, clear as a bell. Because like I said, Lori Vallow is on trial in Idaho right now. And she is crazier than a shithouse rat. And they still have her in front of the judge every day. Happy Friday, Lana. Go Chiefs.
Go Chiefs. Yay, sports.
Woohoo! You can at least enjoy the food, Lana.
I do. I love events and parties, and you know, I'm a former bartender. I bartended for a great many years while raising my babies and going to college. So I love the food. I used to have a beanie. I don't know what happened to it. It might be in storage that someone got for me because I don't have teams. I don't really follow sports except baseball. That's a whole different game. And the beanie just said sports. And so I would wear the beanie, and anytime, the teams are playing, I would sarcastically like, yay, go sports. It's so sportsy in here. And people were like, stop it, Lana, because they got so into their teams, man. Oh,
it just said plain sports on Atlanta.
It just said sports. Yeah.
I'm going to make one. I'm going to make
had a
one
patch on it that said sports in like fun colors. Like a
sports.
Team
what do you
hat.
follow?
Just
What do you follow, Lana? Just sports. Just sports. Grandma Bunny said, Patrick, that is freaking hilarious.
But yeah, it's been a week for the Monkey Vaughn case and Michael's family, no doubt.
Every day for Monkey's family.
Every day.
Horrible. I have a comment right here. Stephanie Weber. By the way, guys, if I showcase your comment on the show, send me an email, get a hold of me one way or another, and you'll figure out why. Stephanie Weber said that Brandon guy talking about Stacy being the one who kept pushing for kids and Sarah didn't want them, but he wanted a child really bad and supposedly said he'd be okay with adoption. That really creeps me out. What
Right.
did he want a kid so bad for? I think she had an idea and finally gave him what he wanted. It's just a theory.
Well, it's an excellent theory. However, you know, I think it's bigger than that.
Big time.
Chief Huff has said many times that there's many people involved in this, and as time goes on and as it starts to unfold in the most heartbreaking ways, there's more and more and more people involved. And you know, I don't want to use the word trafficked yet because I haven't heard law enforcement say it, but when there's this many people involved in a single child's abduction, that all have knowledge or possible hands in, you know, it lends that thought to it. You need to think about that, because there's people outside of Fruitland, you know, like Adrian, who is all over the place. He has ties everywhere. Adrian's now on social media making claims that he's been set up, and he's named somebody from Twin Falls and told everyone how this person from Twin Falls is tied to the Wondras and how this guy got him the room, and saying, you know, and giving more information where it's like, okay, wow, there's more people possibly involved. And at the same time, Adrian and Brandon, and I know this matter of factly from the family, from detectives, have representation. So they're not talking. And Stacy in Washington County for his unrelated gun charges is not talking. And Sarah in the state hospital, you know, getting competent, is not talking. Brandon's parents aren't talking. Sarah's parents aren't talking. Nobody's talking. And nobody's telling anyone what they know.
They're not talking. And when I think back with what Chief Huff said and the expression on his face, his demeanor when he answered this question about persons of interest, and he said there's several, I think they have, this is just my opinion, I think they have scratched the surface of a freaking pedo ring.
It makes me sick to my stomach. I've literally thrown up in my mouth thinking about Michael. I mean, just looking at those 4 faces during the last press conference, you know, and thinking about that little boy at the end of the road just looking for friends to play with, and he stood no chance against those people.
None. Let's listen to what Chief Huff said for those that haven't heard.
Yes.
You know, I'm not going to really get into too deep on the persons of interest, but I will tell you there are multiple. Okay.
Are there any people that you interviewed or searched that have been non-cooperative?
Yeah, there have been.
Look at him when she asks, are there people? He said, I don't want to get into persons of interest, but there's multiple. Then she says, are there people that aren't cooperative? And his whole demeanor, he kind of scratches his face. He goes, yeah, there have been. When I talked to Brandy, she said, we had no idea that there were people that weren't cooperating. She thinks like everybody is all on board to help find Michael. And she goes, what do you mean people aren't cooperating?
Oh yeah, that was one of these many moments. It's almost kind of laughable because we would, you know, be trolled on the internet as though, I mean, I've even seen tweets saying that I write the speeches for Chief Huff and manage the press conferences, and I'm like, wow, thank you. That is such a compliment because he's such a great speaker. But I truly have nothing to do with any of this, and in fact, I know matter of factly that press conference, that specific one, where he said there's multiple people and people are not being compliant. I saw Brandy's face on camera when he said those words, and I knew in that moment that she had never heard that. And I called her right after, and she was crying and shaking and mad. And that was the first time that they had heard that people were not being compliant. And there's a reason for that, because, you know, law enforcement doesn't want them to go confront, but that's why, because you find out things like, oh, one of the homes that Michael knocked on, you know, they were refusing a search and a polygraph and had talked to a lawyer, and whether they're involved or not is here nor there, because I don't think they know any of these, you know, people, because they live like right by the Vaughns. And yet it's kind of like, why? Like, why were you not complying? Like, there's so many people. So this family, day after day after day, is learning more and more and more about how their whole entire the community right around them, these people know and or were involved and are doing nothing.
And I'm more pissed at Brandon's mom, Tina, than any of them right now. I don't know why I'm so mad at her. Look at Slim's comment. Well, I know why I'm mad, but I shouldn't be more mad. You know what I mean? Slim said they were trying to cover it up with these stupid small businesses. The taxi, the laundry service, the lube shop. Think about Atlanta. Think about what Chief Huff has uncovered and all of their weird little businesses they had going on. Mind you, all of their businesses aren't LLCs. They're doing all this shit out of their house. Hey, do you have a car and your own insurance? We'll dispatch you. And no, I'm going to do laundry out of my house.
It's like, it makes me think of the Chicken Man on Breaking Bad, right? Like, he was out there running his chain of chicken restaurants, but he was the biggest meth dealer in the state. And sometimes that really is what's going on, is people have a front in place to try to legalize in some manner, you know, and cover up and wash their illegal activities.
Shelley said Huff is pissed off at these criminals. I think he is too. I think he takes this personal.
Yeah, and he's heartbroken. I mean, the last, you know, you guys saw him on camera in November. He's lost so much weight. He's so, you know, distraught trying to find Michael.
Slim said, look at the businesses too. Taxi, laundry, lube. I mean, you know.
Well, and renting rooms out to people you hardly know that come in from out of state. I mean, we heard Brandon in his, you know, joyous hot tub interview tell us how he and Sarah, Stacey was at home, he and Sarah drove to get Adrian from the airport, and then they all went to Applebee's. So the Wonders did not know Adrian prior to that, and Adrian's confirmed that himself on TikTok, that he didn't know them. He was renting a room. So that was another thing they're doing too, is just letting people they don't even know come in and rent rooms through their contacts.
No, it was a flop house for homeless pedos. That's it. I'm going to play that video, and we're going to do a whole show about this probably Monday if you're down, Lana.
Okay. Yeah.
But I'm going to play the video that you sent me the other day. You said it was okay to share it. If it's not, I won't share it. It's not a big deal.
No, they're okay to share. It was put public on his TikTok, and then he took them down. So.
And he took this down, but we have it. We have it. No thanks to me. This is Lana's hard work. I'm going to play this, and I want you to explain what we're looking at.
Tape na produção. Am I the only one that it's not coming up on screen for?
Lana, you're muted.
Yeah, so
here, let me play it again.
Am I the only one that's not seeing it come up on screen? I'm just wondering if it's my
tape na produção.
Just technical difficulties here. We were both muted, but I tried to blame it on Lana and go, Lana, you're muted. Lana's muted now. Let me see if I can unmute Lana. Go ahead.
No, I'm just, whatever you're playing, I'm not seeing it on screen. It just goes silent, so I don't know what you're playing. And so I was trying to figure out if I'm having technical difficulties.
Can you guys see the video on the screen?
Yeah, so I was trying to ask the audience if they saw it so I could figure out if it was just me.
Let's just talk about the text. The text under it where he says he's being set up. Everyone can see. What was
that video? They can see it and I can't. Okay, so it must be my StreamYard. So which one did you play? The one where the guy's holding the guns?
That's the one.
All right. So yeah, so he put that up on his TikTok, Adrian did. And this was not found by me. This was, I wish I could take credit, but this was found by another advocate of the families that follows the case and has been working diligently to try to help. And so he put that up and he started making, first we saw that there was comments up on other people's videos, like people who had hashtag Adrian Lucien. And he was going around commenting and being like, oh, it's the world's biggest setup, you know, and things like that. And then all of a sudden a video comes up, and I don't remember which was the first one, because the first video he threw up, I didn't actually collect because he put it up and then took it down so quickly. And then these videos came up, so I screen recorded them and also followed him, and then he followed me back. And so we were able to message for a second before he unfollowed me and I could no longer private message. But in those DMs, and I screenshotted that, he said to me directly that this guy who is Alexi out of Twin Falls, Idaho, is the one that, and gave me the links to his Instagram profile, is the one who knows the Wondras and rented the room to Adrian. So he said that to somebody, a few other people in Messenger also, as well as across TikTok and several other comments that we have screenshot and captured. So this guy with the guns is Alexi. I can't remember his last name. I have that somewhere. And this person is out of Twin Falls, and allegedly, according to Adrian, is the connection and knows the Wondras and was part of taking Michael and removing Michael from that community. And Adrian is claiming that Alexi not only rented him the room, but was a part of all of this. He's got this like THC tattoo across his chest and apparently goes by the like gang name or nickname 420. And it's like a whole bunch of stuff that Adrian said about him. So we sent all that to law enforcement. Of course, first and foremost, let the family know that this is all up on social in case, you know, it wasn't real. And it came back down the pipeline that they fully believe this is Adrian's profile by information that has been said in other DMs that I can't publicly say, but they were able to validate. And in those messages, Adrian gave them the connection from Alexi to the Wondras. And so, like,
shit.
Yeah.
Oh, you know, I tell you what, I got that from you. I woke up like around midnight, 1 o'clock, and I was like, what is this, Lana?
It's
and you
fucking
explained
crazy
it.
is what it is. Excuse my language, but it is fucking crazy. Yeah, so that's what this video is that I sent Brooks that she just shared with y'all. Yeah. And so I mean, like I said, I know that, you know, law enforcement has told the family that none of these people were talking, but yet, and then even as of yesterday, Brandon is over there on Facebook. I need to send you this too. He's got a new Facebook profile and he's, you know, saying, hey, everybody leave me alone. I don't, you know, you guys are all idiots and you're misled. And
hang on, Brandon does? Brandon does? Brandon?
Yes, I'm gonna send you.
How do you spell his last name? Shirtless?
Yeah, but his profiles, he makes funny names like B Dog Shirty. Here, I'm gonna send you something right now in Facebook Messenger, Brooks. And his other one is like Brando, Jahoni, Shirley Liz or something. Like he does these really weird names.
He's so weird.
But he's got a lot of posts like yesterday and today out there saying, I've got a lawyer. I'm going to sue Fruitland for slandering me.
That's what his mom said too. His mom's like, and don't think our attorneys aren't going to sue for slander. Let me tell you something. Good luck. Good luck. You cannot sue the police for investigating a crime. And if your name pops up in it, guess what? Sorry, loser. That's because you were hanging around shit people.
Exactly. They can't sue for slander because your son's face was put up during a press conference because he rented a room with people that they can verify had Michael in their home.
Do you
think
he
was there at the time? That is not slander.
I was thinking about this the other day in the shower because that's when I do a lot of my best thinking. Do you think it's weird? I wasn't thinking about you, Lana, but I thought to ask you about this. Do you think it's weird that Sarah, when approached by the police, when they kicked her door down and she was laying on her fat ass watching Netflix on a Friday night, and they came in and said, it's go time, and they started digging up the backyard. Do you think it's weird that she blamed God, Stacy, and Adrian? Well, no, God told her she didn't blame God, but she didn't name Brandon, but she wanted Brandon to give her a baby. She did not blame Brandon. She blamed Stacy and Adrian.
Right. I did catch that as well. You know, I'm not sure how law enforcement linked Brandon or how they knew that he was there at the time, other than, you know, we've all seen the social media posts and him crashing on the couch. And then he, of course, his infamous shirtless beer drinking, hot tub and time interview. But he was there. There's no denying that. He was there that day with them, admitted he was driving around eating ribs at Applebee's that day.
Shelly picked it up too. Yeah, he lets her buy him ribs and light beer at Applebee's, right? She didn't blame him. Shelly goes, she was protecting Brandon because she has a crush on him.
Who knows? Maybe she's weird.
Because he said they were laying on the bed one time, him and Sarah, and she was grabbing Natty's manhood.
Gross. Yeah.
Let's go through this video again. Lana absolutely hates this, but I think Brandon is way, way more connected than he says. Way more connected. And the fact that his mom says cadaver dogs picked up on their toilet leaking and that they came back with 17 cars and shovels and started digging up her backyard, there's way more to it than that. Cadaver dogs only pick up on what cadaver dogs are trained to sniff out.
Correct. We need to talk about that more for sure. I'm lit up about this.
I am too. I'm furious with Tina.
Michael Vaughn disappeared from his neighborhood more than a year ago, and today there are still so many questions surrounding what happened. Yesterday, in a news conference, Fruitland police revealed the identities of 2 more people who they believe have firsthand knowledge in Michael's abduction. And one of those people talked with a YouTube blogger just last week. Here's a look at some of that interview. Videos circulating on social media are shedding light on 3 of the 4 people Fruitland police named in connection with Michael Vaughn's disappearance.
It's actually really hard sometimes to be that vulnerable with people.
But who are these people? Just last week, YouTube blogger Jonathan Lee Riches talked with Brandon Sherliff about the then 5-year-old's disappearance. This interview came 5 days before police named Sherliff and Adrian Lucien as 2 people believed to have firsthand knowledge in Michael's abduction.
You ever hear Sarah or Stacy talk about the bonds or mention the bonds or say anything?
Never once. Not even. The only time I heard them ever mention the Vaughns is when they stopped the car that day and they said, hey, there's somebody that's missing in the neighborhood. His name's Michael Vaughn.
Never, ever, except that one day they stopped the car in the neighborhood and say, hey, there's somebody missing in the neighborhood. His name's Michael Vaughn.
If I was his mother and I saw this, I would have driven over there myself and grabbed him by his little poof, slapped the shit out of him, dragged his ass out, throat punched his father for partying with him, bring his ass back to Idaho, and make him answer these questions. Like, this is ridiculous. How can you watch this and not see that he knows more than he's saying?
Of course he is. Never, ever. He wipes off the goatee and goes, except for the day we were driving through the neighborhood. Him, Stacy, and Sarah wandered, probably had Adrian with them too, and said, and they stopped the car. They stopped the car, Lana, and said, hey, there's a kid in the neighborhood missing. His name's Michael Vaughn. You just said never, ever. Never, ever, but
that one time.
But that one time, and his mom has heard all this, and his mom's making light of it. I prayed with the police officers. I gave them water. I gave them food. They found out I have a leaking toilet because the dogs hit on it. Go ahead, Lana.
No, I have words for Tina with that as well. There's no way. I'm beyond. I have adult children, and I've really tried to think about how I would feel if, I were in her shoes and they showed up wanting to search my home and looking for potential remains of a small child that my son may or may not have placed there. Yeah, I would get my child a lawyer, but I tell you what, I would be making sure that my child was back in the state facing the current warrant that he has out there. And I would be putting that minor child who is still missing first. That little boy who's not even a quarter the size of your adult son, who had zero chance against these people who took him from his street while he was trying to find friends to play with. And you've sat there. This woman lives, Kuna is 15 minutes from Fruitland. And she's seen this. She knows. She's watched this. She allegedly, goes to church. It's all over social media that she's, a God-fearing woman, a Christian woman, and has said nothing.
Well, like Mama Kay said, well, Satan can quote scripture, so we're supposed to be impressed because you prayed with the police? Really?
If she prayed, she was just sitting on the couch praying they weren't going to arrest her. She, she also says, I can't remember what part of that interview as well, that they even accused her of knowing more. So she told the reporter, Alexandra Duggan, that the police said to her, we know you know more than what you're telling us.
The police said that to her, not social media. Good luck suing them. The police said to her, we know you know more. The dogs hit on your backyard. And now they're waiting on further DNA testing to come back.
Correct.
Do you guys know him or know where he went? That was the first time that came up to my attention. And then
to my attention, he was still in the house when Brandy dropped off a flyer that Sarah put up on the refrigerator and took a selfie of herself with Michael's flyer over her shoulder.
Correct. He was still there. There was pictures of him couch surfing during those days after Michael went missing.
Absolutely.
As far as I know, they both said, no, we don't know where he's at. Let's go help look for him.
Shurliff says
they didn't go
help look for him.
No. Then why didn't Brandon say, yeah, we all need to go help find this little boy? What did Brandon do? Go back to the house? While Sarah and Stacy didn't go look. And also, I'm not talking about their weight. I'm not talking about their health. I'm not talking about their athletic ability. I don't believe for a minute Sarah and Stacy, though, could dig to the extent that is described. Let me put it that way.
Same. I don't think so either.
But I think Brandon could.
I think there's a lot of, and Adrian could.
But I think Brandon could. I think
Brandon could.
I think, yep.
I think Brandon could. I think Brandon also had access to his mother's house without her knowledge.
Yep,
You know,
and I
giving
think
her
I
benefit of the
think
doubt here.
and I think the cadaver dogs are trained to sniff out human remains, not leaky toilets.
They did not find a leaky toilet, and you know, it's law enforcement's, I mean, they haven't come out and said, and maybe it is because, you know, they are waiting for the DNA testing. But they did say, you know, like you said in the one news report, the cadaver dogs, all the cadaver dogs hit on the Wonders yard. He has not come out and said that about Tina's yard yet. Tina said it, which just blows my mind. She said it. She volunteered that the cadaver dogs hit on her crawl space. Her son could have easily had, he did. He had access to her home without her knowledge at any point.
Disgusting. I
It
can't
is
look at 'em.
disgusting.
I
And
can't
to
look
be so
at it.
casual about it in Facebook Messenger, like, oh, and our lawyer's gonna do a press conference about slander. Good, because you know who's gonna be front and center at that press conference, Tina? Brandy Neal.
Please.
Front and center, eye to eye, looking at you, Tina, at that press conference that you and your attorney are gonna hold over slander. So let us know when and where.
What really, you know what? I fully encourage them to file a slander suit because guess what? They have to testify too, and they have to go on the stand too, and they have to be asked questions. Can't plead the fifth in your own lawsuit.
Nope.
I think it's a great idea, Lana.
They're not doing it. She's just talking smack.
Mm-hmm.
He was with Sarah Wandra and Adrian the day Michael disappeared.
I was with Sarah that whole day and Adrian. And then Stacy was left home alone.
I was with Sarah that whole day and Adrian, but Stacy was left home alone.
Mm-hmm.
So is he covering for Sarah? We know he's covering for himself. So when they got back, what went down?
Exactly. I think we talked about this before. Like, you know, did you just, y'all showed up and there's Stacy with a random child on the couch? You know, you guys just walked in and like, here's somebody's kid. Like, what happened? If that's true, if that is in fact true, that you three were out going and picking, or you two went and picked Adrian up from the airport, went to Nampa, Applebee's, ran around, and then came back that evening, and the search was going on, then that means you would have walked in and seen Michael on the couch with Stacy. I mean, so how could you not know?
No, yeah, because they both were at the house. Michael went missing. Stacy couldn't have been hiding Michael. They had to have seen Michael. They had to have. They were at the house.
There's no way that child was going to be complicit. I guarantee you he was distraught and scared and not, you know, being quiet.
No.
Last month, police arrested Sarah Wandra for failing to report a death. She lived in the house on Red Wing Street with her husband, Stacy Wandra. The same house police excavated and searched for Michael. Stacy Wandra is currently being held in the Washington County Jail for unrelated charges.
Although the remains of Michael Vaughn were not recovered, we strongly believe, based on evidence, that Michael was abducted and is deceased, and that his remains were buried and later moved from the property.
During Thursday's news conference, Fruitland police said both Shirley and Lucienne were staying with the Wandras at the time of Michael's disappearance. Police say
they know Brandon was there. They know Adrian was there. So you can't say never, ever, ever. But we were driving around one day and they stopped the car and said, hey, there's someone missing. His name's Michael Vaughn. They had to have seen Michael. They had to have
seen Michael. Yes.
Lucienne is believed to be floating between Ohio and California. While drinking beer and sitting in a hot tub in North Dakota, Shirley also revealed the Wandras were religious or hid behind religion.
Hey, I thank God for you. I hope you say a prayer for me.
Like the whole time I was there, they just say, oh, we believe in God and God tells me what we should do for the day and how to help people. And we believe in doing good to the community. So I don't know why they would go from that to getting caught with guns and then trying to run off with the story that definitely didn't happen in front of my eyes.
He also revealed he was not in Idaho at the time of the interview, but his family has a home here.
The police and the detectives and everything, they've been at my mom's house since I've been gone. They're beside themselves and just scared and freaking.
And what a great son. My mom's freaking out. They're beside themselves. I bet she is. No,
Oh,
I
I
mean,
bet she is.
no sympathy at all. And she's like, oh, why doesn't he go back from North Dakota and put an end to it then for his mama? He doesn't care about anybody. Why doesn't he at least make his part of it right? Look, I'll go, find this warrant. I'll tell him what I know. And that way, at least they leave my mom alone. He doesn't care. He doesn't care.
He doesn't care. No, exactly. Exactly. And there's a current warrant out for him in Idaho, which unfortunately is not anything major. It's just a little minor something that isn't extraditable. It's not something that they can force him back to the state on. But even that, is sitting there unresolved. Come back, be an adult, take care of your shit, and answer these questions. Sit down with Chief Huff, sit down with the detectives, with the FBI, answer the questions, tell them everything you know, and help find Michael.
Unless they're guilty. I mean, it'd be nice for them to get a strike of conscience, but we can't be betting on that, can we?
No, I don't think so, because, even, let's flipping over the other person, Adrian on TikTok coming out the gate as well, being like, I'm set up and I've got, receipts to show I'm set up. And, if that's true, you're sitting on evidence this whole time and doing nothing about it. You're doing nothing to help find this child or help this little boy that what happened to him. And you're doing nothing.
And you're exactly right. He said he's got receipts. His receipts to clear him that he says he has could also help find Michael.
Exactly. But you're running scared and doing what you do and not talking. That's at the end of the day, not talking. They're all lawyering up. They're all, flopping around and I'm going to sue the city and it's all lies and I'm being set up, and nobody is helping this little boy. Nobody.
Nope. Not even Tina.
I don't get it.
And here's the thing. Tina, I don't believe Tina's involved at all, but she still will not help. Now, just because they didn't have to get a warrant to go to her house, I guarantee she is shitting her britches now when those cadaver dogs picked up on something in her yard. But all she can say is, oh, it was a leaky toilet.
I would have shit myself when I opened the door and police were coming to my house to talk to me about one of my children potentially being involved in something like this. Are you kidding me? I probably would have had a major panic attack just sitting there listening to them, say what they're going to say, and that I either need to comply or they're going to go get a warrant and do it anyway. I would be devastated. And I bet she was praying real hard, real hard.
Well, and imagine when she thinks she's being a good citizen by saying, oh, I just let them come in and I prayed with them and I let them run their dogs in my yard. And then they came back the next day with 17 cars and shovels. Now that is a little different. It was all being a good citizen until they came back with 17 cars and shovels.
As questions continue to surround this home where all 4 people stayed at one point, still no definitive answer as to what happened to Michael.
They said it right there, where all 4 stayed at one point. All four were at that house the day that Michael disappeared.
Yep.
It's horrible. It is just horrible. Well, Lana, I appreciate you grabbing the link and coming up.
No problem. I'll definitely keep in touch over the weekend and come back on Monday if you want to talk more about Monkey. We're always here to share his faith.
I think we have some stuff that we need to definitely go over that we haven't gone over in a while, and this new stuff that's come up from, is it Instagram or TikTok?
It is TikTok. Adrian's on TikTok now. And then the account or the person that he pointed out that said got him the room at the Wondras is on Instagram. So yeah.
Kim said, how many people are involved? I'm saying 4 or more. I'm going to say 5 or 6 at this point.
I'm going to say even possibly more, because I'm still not fully convinced that Sarah's parents, who own her home and were supporting her and live on the same block 3 houses away, didn't know something at some point either.
Exactly.
They helped put the shed on the building. I mean, that shed that they dug around during the search was not there previously. There was a permit pulled, and that shed was put on after Michael's disappearance.
After.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
All right, my friend. Well,
All right. Have a good weekend, everyone. Thank you so much.
Hey, don't forget the members for the Super Bowl parties tomorrow morning, Lana.
Oh yeah, the Rihanna concert. Just kidding.
That's on Sunday. That's on Sunday, my friend.
I know. Oh, Sunday. Yeah, that's right. Sports. Go sports. Yay. Yay teams.
All right. I'll talk to you later. Big round of applause for Lana. Amazing advocate for Monkey. Big round of applause for Trevor. He is the general in Summer's army, if you ask me. He has picked up where people in her family never picked. He picked up where I can't say they dropped off because they never picked up. So, guys, I appreciate you all coming in here. I know it gets confusing when we do a more than one case show, but it was a crazy ass week. It was crazy. And we have a lot of shows next week. Now, tomorrow morning, we have our members live, our Super Bowl party. We have our members live on Tuesday for Valentine's. Don't miss either one of those. And of course, every weekday morning, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Tulsa time, we have our regular crime, how we're so sick of crime going off session. That's what we do. All right, guys, enjoy the rest of your Friday, and I'll see you back here tomorrow morning. You're the absolute best.